I love it all. I love every single minute of it. I love the complexity. I love the challenges. I love the days where I'm like on the ground, like on my knees, like, how am I gonna do this? I'm tired, or whatever is coming up. It's just like, I love the beauty, the depth, and the complexity that life brings. And I truly feel I am living a full life with my passions, with my gifts and talents and skills being used in all these ways. And so even though it's more stressful sometimes, and even though I'm handling so much and I have less time, I wake up every day so excited to live life.
Welcome to this podcast featuring Krsity Hambrick, founder of Lavande Spiritual Wellness and Elixir de la Lune Healing Foods Cafe located in La Jolla, San Diego. Kristy's passion for intentional living is reflected in every aspect of her businesses, from the consciously made products to the private healing services and group events she offers. She enjoys guiding clients in discovering and awakening their unique gifts and believes in empowering individuals to take control of their own narratives. Join us for an insightful conversation with this seer, guide, healer, and friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, it's a pleasure.
My first question is, what's a most recent theme that has been coming up for you in your life?
Wow, that's a good one to start with, because there's so many. Being in this space, we feel like it's an activated temple space with divine forces here supporting our growth and evolution, and also filled with synchronicity. So it is constantly bringing up the themes, the patterns, the traumas, the emotions that we need to look at, experience, and feel. So I am constantly in a state of evolution and growth, being in this space, as well as all the employees, everyone that comes into this space really understands the energy of transformation here. So most recently,
we can talk about speaking.
Yes. Well, speaking has been my most challenging past trauma, which has now been my biggest reward and accomplishment that I feel I've really stepped into and stepped through being in this space. When I first went on my first retreat many, many years ago, when I was in the group, there was like 30 or 40 of us, so a large group. If I were to chant Om in the group, I would be afraid of my voice being heard in the group of the 30 or 40 people. So seriously afraid to have my voice be heard inside of the group. So that's where I was. I never imagined that I would be speaking in front of people regularly like I am today. Even when I started this business, I wasn't yet at first. One of the women that works for me is my lead facilitator, my lead healer, and she did a lot of the speaking and just allowed me to be the support for her, until one day where I was like, even if I come to you, even if I'm crying, please, don't step in and rescue me, let me speak. And it was so hard and so scary, and sometimes I was like, no, I can't do it, I'm not ready today. But I kept continuing to step through that fear and just started using my voice, and even if it didn't come out perfect, even if I didn't like what I said or what I shared, I just started like accepting the way that the words were being shared, and I felt empowered that I was actually able to speak the truth that's in my heart. When I was younger, I literally thought, I'm probably going to die not being able to speak in front of people because it's just the scariest thing that I ever could imagine doing, and now I'm doing it all the time. And now it's actually like exciting and fun. Even though I still get really scared, I still get terrified sometimes, but it's not like it was. The words are coming, and I'm being more gentle and graceful with myself every time I get to speak and I get to share. And even if I stumble on my words, even if the right words don't come through, I'm not so angry with myself. I'm not so mad at myself, and I'm actually enjoying and allowing like the words to come through in the way that is helpful for the group.
Do you know why you were so scared to speak? Did something happen when you were a child?
Well, I feel like it's actually generational.
Okay.
And so I know that my grandma had a hard time, my mother had a hard time, I did, and then my daughter is the last one. My grandma was Joanne Ray, my mom is Kathleen Ray, I'm Kristy Ray, my daughter's Keller Ray. So in naming my daughter, I carried on the blessings and the curses of our lineage, and so one of them was speaking.
Wow.
And so my mom specifically recently, I mean, she's in remission right now, but she had huge tumors around her throat because it was such a challenge for her. Then it went into me, and that's why my daughter wasn't speaking even in 3rd grade. Like, she would talk to us, but she wasn't talking to others. So I understand that this is something that we did come here to change for our lineage, and I feel like I'm doing the work, and I also think like my daughter is the one that came to actually change it for all of us. And that's why it's so intense inside of her, that she's just the one that's like, I got this, Mom, you know, I'm gonna do this.
As you were telling me about that, I started feeling something, I don't know how to describe it, but it made me want to cry. And I think it's because I resonate with this so much. I'm already crying. It's okay. Whew. In my situation though, I felt like when I was younger, my household was pretty toxic, so I felt safer not saying anything.
Right.
And it followed me for a while of being known as shy and awkward. As I grow and continue to move on, I feel like I'm pretty good at speaking and sharing, but there's definitely still some things that I avoid confrontation. Like, I don't want to get in a fight with anyone. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be crying and have to speak with a trembling voice. I really resonate with everything that you've been through and this fear of speaking and being heard. And for me, it comes with the fear of being rejected and being seen. Thank you for sharing. For other people to witness your courage and your determination is truly, truly inspiring.
Thank you. Also, our name Lavande, since we're on communication, lavande is the French word for lavender, and the spiritual and emotional meaning of lavender is authentic communication. And I didn't even know that when I named it. I found out later when I was looking up the emotional and spiritual benefits of lavender. I found that piece of information, and then I truly understood why that name came through, why I chose that name. And not only is it the name, but it's the essence and the frequency of our business. And so when you step in here, you are being called to your truest, authentic communication. And what I've seen from all of us that work here, and even the people that are coming here regularly, getting to experience their own evolution and growth and seeing how they are now able to communicate in a way that they never were able to before. And so that is part of our essence, and part of our mission is to help you step into your most authentic self, and in that being able to communicate the truth that's in your heart, kindly, lovingly, compassionately, but unapologetically your truth.
When did your spiritual journey start?
Mostly when I moved to California. So I moved to California a little over 20 years ago. I definitely wasn't spiritual when I lived in Ohio, where I grew up, but I did have a passion inside for development of the self, and just always wanted to understand how to be a better person, how to show up, how to not have the same mistakes that I've made, the patterns that I have, the patterns of my family. So I had this understanding of, I see these things, they don't feel right, but I don't know how to change them within myself. When I came to California, I received a book from a friend. She was like, oh, here, read this book. And I just started doing the practices in the book, and they were energy practices. And as soon as I started doing it, things started happening. Things started moving inside of me. I was like, energy is real. I had no idea until I brought light inside my body and felt what happened, and then watched my external reality start to change. So when I lived in Ohio, I felt like a victim of my circumstances. Like, I didn't have any power, I didn't have any control. I was lost in the sea of chaos and despair. Then I came to California, I got this book, and I realized that I was the author, I was the editor, I was the writer of my own story, that I had power, that I had a huge potential inside of me and a huge potential ahead of me. I just needed to start doing the work and get the understanding of how to do it, do the work, and move myself in that direction. And that's what I've been doing ever since I received that first book.
Wow. Do you remember what your first 5 years were like?
The first year was stepping out of victimhood. and really like reading this book and understanding and playing with energy, playing and seeing like, okay, they said if you do this, this will happen. And so I would do these practices and I would watch those things happen. So it really was just like a moment of like awe and wonder of really what is possible on the planet. The things that I was told weren't real were actually real. You know, everything's like, oh, that's voodoo, oh, that's whatever. Science proves that our thoughts create our reality, and that if we do these things and focus on these things and take this time or whatever, you can get these results. And that is true, and that is science. But I grew up believing that it was all like woo-woo or whatever, so I had no idea the power that we have inside of us. Once we get to know ourselves, and once we take away the layers, the thoughts, the conditioning that actually isn't ours. And so that's what probably the first 5 years were, just really like starting to look at who am I and who do I want to be, and what are the things that I am carrying that aren't mine, what are the things that I'm carrying that aren't serving me, and what can I let go of and what can I step into. And it's still like that's the process. Yeah. You know, like forever unfolding this process of like really unfolding all the things that aren't you and finding out who you are. Who am I at my core? And I'm continuing to reveal more and more parts of myself every day. Every day that you do this work, that you tune into yourself and find out like, what is in there? Who am I? What did I come here to share? What did I come here to do? What new gift is ready to be explored and expressed and revealed?
Wow, I could feel the excitement and curiosity and passion just emanating from everything that you just said. It's inspiring, and I feel the same way. I woke up this morning with positive thoughts in my head about how excited I am for life, but I also feel a little lonely. Like, I don't feel comfortable sharing how excited I truly am with people, because I don't think they're that excited. And I don't know. I feel like as I unfold all these fears, it's like this onion. Once I really let go of a fear, I'm like, wow, that fear was actually kind of silly.
Well, I mean, the fear is there in place because of probably like things that we experienced when we were younger. Yeah. And it's a defense mechanism to keep you safe. And so when you really cultivate that safety inside of you and start to let go of the fears and really love yourself at the deepest, most intimate levels and know that you are worthy just because you are, because you are you. And know that we're always in a process of becoming, and accepting where you are right now really allows you to become even more. And so just giving yourself the grace and the patience and the love that you deserve just because you are, you know, you and beautiful and a little light in this world, a big light in this world. Yeah. You know, and finding the people that can hold that for you too, and bringing those people into your life, and people that can match your enthusiasm for the things that you're doing. Like, I literally was just saying this today, like to my husband and then also to my employees, because if you're the outsider looking in, for some people, you know, what is she doing right now? Because I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, and I had, like, I was going on retreats, I was doing workshops, I was like living with my plants and my land and like my pets, and like my children were in school, and I had all this time, and it was so beautiful, so incredible. Like, I really had like a lot of time to like develop who I am, and my life was easy and it was good. Yeah. Now I have 2+ businesses, so 2 strong businesses plus the branches of the businesses that I'm doing with the retreats and the workshops and the events and the healing sessions and all the branches of what it is. And I still have a family who still needs me. And so I've brought in all of these really complex aspects of my life. And so there are days where I am very stressed out. There are days when I have little time for myself as I'm trying to balance all the things. But as I was saying today, is like, I love it all. I love every single minute of it. I love the complexity. I love the challenges. I love the days where I'm like on the ground, like on my knees, like, how am I gonna do this? I'm tired, or whatever is coming up. It's just like, I love the beauty, the depth, and the complexity that life brings. And I truly feel I am living a full life with my passions, with my gifts and talents and skills being used in all these ways. And so even though it's more stressful sometimes, and even though I'm handling so much and I have less time, I wake up every day so excited to live life. I want to like match your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Because I think life is so incredible, even with all the things that people could look at and be like, you think that's incredible? Yes. Because we can experience on the deepest level like you are experiencing, you know, like the depths of our emotions and the depths of life's experiences. It's a gift.
Yeah, it is. I've also been really present with every thought, every emotion, everything that used to really bother me about myself. Like, for example, I get really frustrated sometimes, like with working. I'm like, oh, I just want this to work already. But what I've been doing recently is being really slow and patient and asking, what is this teaching me? How can I approach this differently? Like, how can I not get mad at myself for being in the same cycle? And how can I learn and grow from this? And when I look at that dark stuff, with that like the things that we kind of avoid in this positive light, life becomes so much more fun. It's so exciting. Oh, I'm frustrated again. How, like, what can I do right now to feel better, or to not even feel better, but to just accept that this might be where I am and that this is okay and this isn't forever.
That's so beautiful. I think it's so important and necessary and affirmation of growth to be in that place. And it takes like the heaviness off of everything too. So even if you're in the heavy emotions, but you can be the observer looking at it, it's like, I'm in this. Like I was saying today too, this is how I feel today because I was holding a lot, but I know tomorrow I'm gonna feel something completely different. And it is just like riding the waves of life's experiences and knowing today it feels like this, tomorrow it's gonna feel like this, and be like light with it, like you are, like laughing, like, okay, I'm really frustrated, or I'm back in the same cycle again. Like, what information don't I have yet that I need to have? And like bringing that awareness to it and that lightness, that grace is what actually helps it to shift. And it's like you have to have done so much work to even get to that place. And once you're there, it's like it is shifting, you know, because of the awareness that you have and the energy that you're bringing to it. And so it's really a beautiful place to be.
Do you remember the first moment Lavande became a possibility in your mind?
Very first moment. I think, again, this is an unfolding for me because I got a piece of the information. I went to mystery school.
Wait, what is mystery school?
Mystery school is an esoteric school of energy. And so they have different mystery schools all over the world. I happen to go to one here in California, and they just help you understand energy. They take you through the different chakras and really give you a different perspective on how to live life. When I was at that mystery school, one of the experiences we did was a meditation, and it was like a life purpose meditation to see where you were gonna be in the future, like 10 years from now. And this was, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago when I first went, and I was just talking about this too, so it's really wild that all these things were coming up for me already. I guess we are very in tune. But I did this meditation, and what I saw was, it was like a bookstore with crystals, and in the back there was a healing room. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, I've always loved books and like wisdom and consciousness and information and knowledge and all of those things. That is definitely a passion of mine, and crystals, of course. I didn't know I was a healer, but I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm gonna have a healer in the back. And I was just reflecting on this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I literally saw this space. But I had no idea because it was so long ago. I didn't know I was gonna be the healer. I didn't know it was gonna be as big and as deep as what we've created here. It was my very first time ever leaving my family. It was my very first time like away on a retreat ever. And that was the information I was given 10 years ago about where my future was headed. And here I am. It's not a bookstore, but it's definitely a place of wisdom and knowledge. And there are tons of beautiful conscious books to purchase, tons of crystals and healing spaces in the back. So yeah, that was the first time. So then after that, I just kind of like had that in my mind, but I was a stay-at-home mom. My kids were very young still. My daughter was only in kindergarten at the time. My older kids were probably in 2nd and 4th grade. So yeah, it was still like many years out from me having any type of career, any type of job, because I was just at home, dedicated my time and energy and love for raising my family. But I continue to go on retreats, I continue to go on workshops, and continue to learn who I am, you know, and really understand who I am at my core and what I came here to share. And then after some time, I found out, oh, I'm the healer. I've got healing energy inside of me. Then, you know, I found out more gifts that I have and more things that I came here to share. And so I continued to develop myself. One day I remember praying and I was like, okay, I'm ready. My kids are older. I've been at home for a really long time. Like, let me be the divine hands of love on the planet and let me know how I can serve. Just put it in my heart and show me how to serve. And so then, like, one day I literally like just woke up and the fire was inside my heart. And it was like, this is what you're meant to do and you need to just do it. And so once the fire is burning and the passion is alive, there's nothing you can do to stop it. And so I was just like, show me the way, show me the way. And everything just kept falling into place. So where it turned from that little bookstore with the healing rooms in the back into this, you know, healing center where we are meeting people on mind, body, and soul level and all the ways to heal yourself.
If someone were to come into a healing session with you, what would that look like?
I like to combine a lot of my healing modalities in one session. So I will use tuning forks, crystal singing bowls, crystals, essential oils, and energy to really like facilitate the experience. I believe that sound, like the tuning forks and the crystal bowls, are instantly received from the body. They help shift and move the energy instantly, and they also help begin to harmonize. They open up the channels, and then I'll do energy work to kind of like assist the healing and really allow you to tap into exactly what you need, because every person is different. Some people come in because they're physically ill. You know, they have a physical ailment, a physical pain, something in their physical body that needs attention. Some people come in with emotional pain, and so they need to be met on the emotional level. Some people, it's just like they're lost in their life, they've forgotten who they are, and so it's really about bringing in that like spirituality and that purpose. It's really specialized to who it is and what wants to come through for that person. The practice that I'm most passionate about that I do in my healing rooms is pranatherapy, and that is an energy healing session that has the essence, the frequency, and the force of aligning a person with synchronicity to push them forward on their path in life, to really align the moments, the messages, the people, the places to them, to really help them live their life's purpose and to be who they came here to be. And so that's my favorite session that I do, and I include like the tuning forks, the crystal bowls, you know, all of my instruments in it, but the frequency that comes through in that healing session is synchronicity for life purpose.
Do you have any profound stories of clients after your healing?
So many. so many beautiful stories. Like some people, if you're getting regular prana, it really aligns you to your life path. So at first, if you're not on your life path, it's going to shake your life up. So at first, when I first started doing it, I was like, am I capable of really holding what's happening to these people? Because their lives are getting tipped upside down. But if they continue to come and they continue to like sustain this new energy, it moves everything out of your way that doesn't belong. So it could be a divorce, it could be friendships, it could be family. I've seen family relationships, you know, break up because they were toxic. So whatever isn't meant to be in your path gets removed. And the things that are meant to be just start coming to you. You become a magnet for what is meant for you. It also, what prana does is, in every moment we have like 4 choices, maybe. What prana does is it opens your awareness so that you could see even more choices, and it helps you choose a new choice. Because what happens in our life is we stay stuck in the patterns and like the hamster wheel of life, and we don't make choices outside of our comfort zone. But prana, you don't even really know that you're doing it. But what is really profound is it really truly does. You just make new choices, and that's what heads you in the new direction on the path that you actually came here to live. And so that's what I've seen regularly, even with like a woman where she's like got the message, oh, I'm supposed to write a book. She goes, writes a book. She just brought the book to me today. She's like, I wrote the book. You know, so it's like, that's it so also exciting. Like gives you the visions or the words or the messages that you need to know exactly what you need to move you forward on your path. Another thing that regular prana therapy does is it clears your channel. And I've seen this with everyone, even my husband. It clears your channel so that you become more intuitive. Sometimes the people become really psychic as well. So it's just like to take away the blinders that we have on our own intuition and allowing us to trust it even more so that you can feel all the information that's coming in and to recognize it. So that's another really beautiful thing that I've noticed, like, okay, this happens to every person who gets it regularly. Doesn't matter who you are. Like my husband, not spiritual at all, but he is like super intuitive from his prana sessions. I'm like, did I really want to do that? I thought I wanted to be the intuitive. But yeah.
I am sold. I'm signing up.
It's really relaxing too, so it feels good. I mean, it's different than a Reiki session because Reiki, you're in the bed. And so a lot of times, you know, you fall asleep. Even in the prana session, you're actually sitting in the chair and you're in this position. This is the position, if you've looked at a lot of the ancient Egyptian statues, they're in this position, and it's for a reason. It actually like opens up the energy bodies, and it aligns the spine. So it's a really powerful way to receive this healing session, and there's a purpose behind it. When you're in a Reiki session, you're laying down, and it's so beautiful, it's so loving. It's like that energy and that frequency of love, which a lot of people need, and so that's really beautiful too. But for this, it's like sitting up and just kind of like getting that little push forward on your path, and it's like really allowing those subtle bodies to open so that you can fully receive the energy that's coming through.
Yeah, that makes sense with the Egyptians. I know what you're talking about now, but I never actually thought about it.
Yeah, I didn't know either until they explained exactly why. And this community that I've been trained in, it's a science-based spiritual research community. So it's spirituality blended with science. And they prove how it's the same thing. Like everything in spirituality can be proved through science, and that's what they do. So they research and practice and really like understand deeply the reasons why. Why do you lay down for this? Why do you sit for this? You know, why do you breathe for this particular pattern? You know, and so they really have a deep understanding of why they've chosen this and why it works, and they prove it through science. And so that's another one that they have taught me and have shared the reasons why it really actually benefits this type of healing session.
There's something that I actually noticed a few years ago is I sleep on my stomach because it feels really comfortable. I think I'm protecting myself. It feels safe. And I realized when I would sleep on my back, I felt like I was tapping into something else, and it was scary. Like my clairvoyancy, my clairaudience. Yeah, it was always this like really terrifying experience because no one ever explained it to me. I didn't know what was happening. And I was always curious as why it was on my back. Was it something different with my energy channel?
Well, probably you're more open.
Yeah.
You know, you're open on your back, and I've experienced the exact same things too on my back. I still do try to sleep on my back, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and I definitely experienced those experiences for a very long time. And how it is different if you do lay on your stomach, but I really do think it has to do with just like being open.
Intuition. So I'm definitely very intuitive, and I feel very content with it. For the longest time, though, I wanted to tap into all of my clair abilities. Like, I was obsessed with being a psychic and all this stuff. And I feel like I do have those, like, I've had really profound experiences with, like, clairaudience and, like, seeing stuff. I feel like I'm blocking it, but I think it's just the belief that I'm blocking it is what's blocking it. But how do I stop believing that I'm blocking it?
Well, simple little practices that you can do is just journaling when you have those intuitive moments, and re-strengthening the muscles. And even writing yourself affirmations or gratitude each morning, like, I am very grateful for this intuitive thought, or whatever the experiences are. Like, the gratitude's gonna increase the muscle, and then also documenting all the times when you are, and it'll reopen. We have these abilities. You didn't turn it off. You might not be super tuned into it at the moment, and if you've had them before, you can definitely tap back into them, and they are muscles. So just starting to use them and practice them, and maybe even like finding a book, like how to develop them, or like an online course, or seeking out somebody who really teaches those and knows those, that has simple, practical ways. Because if you have really had them strong, they are still there, just as strong. You just have to find out what ways you need to be more in touch with them, and trust them. But like I said, like, these little practices will gain your confidence in them as well.
Thank you.
And increase the muscle.
Yeah.
Because they're muscles. Yeah, we all have these abilities.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of believing in them, practicing them, being grateful for them when they do show up.
What's your strongest one?
Feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a feeler.
I'm very empathic also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel energy, but I'm also a knower. So the information just comes in. So I can feel, and then the information will be there about what I'm feeling.
What advice would you have for people who want to create something but feel overwhelmed or impatient?
Well, I can resonate with impatience because once it drops in, I have this fire that burns and this passion that burns, and I want to create it now. It's hard for me sometimes to be patient, and I always get a lot of messages of patience. What I'm doing now when those things are coming up for me is just being present with today. That's what I'm really working on right now, because I have all these things I still want to create. I have all these visions for the future, and I have very much been a manifester, and like, you have to meditate or make a vision board or envision this, see this, do these different things to create and manifest and make things happen. And yes, those things definitely work, and they have really worked for me. That is what has gotten me to where I am. But now I'm in this new space of, I think it's more of like a patience, but also a presence and an exploration of, okay, what if I'm not future thinking and future manifesting and like projecting all this energy into the future and everything that I want in the future, and really just being present with myself now and just allowing myself to live today for today. And yes, I might have a few things that I need to get done today, and having that list of those few things that need to be done today because it's really important. And then just being open to any information that wants to come in, like, oh, like this intuition came in and that's something I need to move on. Or this new piece of information came in, or somebody showed up and showed me this. It's like waiting for the information, waiting for the messages, waiting for the alignment, and then moving with that. The way that I did it was great, and it worked for me, but now I'm in this new stage. And so if I'm gonna give the advice from this new place that I'm at, is having the gratitude in the morning for the things that you already have, having the gratitude for the things that you know are coming for you, and knowing that those things are coming, and being so in trust of those things are coming for you if they're meant for you, that there isn't a whole lot that you have to do, and you can just be open to receive the information, the intuition, the message, whatever it is that's going to move you to the next step.
I've been practicing patience also.
In what ways?
Like exactly what you said, just being in this day. I am in this day. I will do this podcast today with you, and I'm present in this moment. And later, I'm probably going to start editing the video tonight or maybe tomorrow, and just be present in that process. And allow what wants to come through that day come through, you know? And on, I think it was Saturday night, I was by myself in front of my mirror talking to myself, affirming how amazing I was. And then I was holding my hands out, envisioning, feeling like I had keys in my hand because like I want a studio. I want a Perspective Switch studio for these podcasts. And I was sitting there imagining it and I was like, wow, this is real. Like this is reality. These thoughts and this feeling of having this space is so real. It actually kind of scares me because I can't really imagine my life like that. But like if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So like allowing it to happen as it will. And I've really been practicing co-creation with the universe because I know it's not just me. My small self loves to dream and like want all these things. But if I let it run the show long enough, it gets really uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, like I want to be more expansive and co-create. So allowing the co-creation, being patient and still having the visions and the action.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you see it, if you feel it, if there is a desire for what you want, it's because it already exists in a dimension and it's just waiting for you to become the frequency of that experience. And as soon as you are, it'll appear. And you are doing the steps every day to get yourself there.
Exciting, scary, beautiful, but mostly exciting. Exciting. Even growing up in this world and not knowing the truth of things, that also feels like a blessing because we get to discover and realize and see how things really are. Talk about the power of intention and will and how this has changed your life.
The power of intention really is part of the essence of my life and how I live. I see intention and meaning in everything. Everything that is around us, there is an intention behind it and a meaning behind it. And for me, it's so important to infuse every moment with those intentions and that meaning and make everything spiritual. Every single day, at least probably for 2 years. Maybe I've missed a few days because I was maybe really sick or I went on a vacation and there was no cacao anywhere. But pretty much every single day, I drink a cup of cacao, I get really present with myself, and I set an intention. I set intentions for meditations. I set intentions for sometimes even like just going to the grocery store. It's like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and I'm gonna get, you know, the foods that I need. I'm not gonna get distracted. I'm not gonna like be in my hunger and just pick random things. Like I feel like intention is direction. And it directs the energy, it directs your focus, and allows you to head in the direction that you set for yourself. And it's an empowerment to know that we can create these intentions and change them anytime we want. So, okay, I set this intention, this is my outcome. You know, I didn't really like that. That didn't work out for me. So tomorrow I'm gonna have a new intention. And, you know, it just helps give direction and focus for your day, for your moment, for your meditation, for your healing session, whatever it is. And intention is an energy, like a flow. And so it really is important to take the time, even just 3 seconds, 5 seconds, to breathe, get present with yourself, and to set an intention for whatever it is you're doing. Because if you're not, then the energy is just going all over the place. It's like, why not use your power and your will to direct your life in the direction that you want it to go in?
It's part of empowerment, realizing that you're powerful, that we're all powerful, and our intention is really powerful. And it's that simple to just state your intention. That's all you need to do. There's like nothing else because it just flows. What has been your biggest fulfillment or joy that has come from Lavande?
I don't know if there's just one, but I'll just mention a few of the things that really light my heart up in ways that I never knew were possible. Getting to be a part of the container that creates so much transformation and change, alignment, and love for so many people. And it's not just over here at Lavande, it's not just over at Elixir, it's through all of the things that we do, through the ways that each of us that work here and are part of this community show up, how the community shows up for each other. As an extension, like these retreats that we've been doing, and really seeing the deep, life-changing transformation that is happening when people are showing up for themselves. And we just get to be a part of that. Like, I'm not doing the work for that person. I'm providing a space. I'm providing a container. I'm providing knowledge and tools. But the other person who is receiving has to show up. They have to say yes. They have to have courage to show up for themselves, to step into this place where they're going to be met with their edge. You know, they're going to be challenged in all kinds of ways. The darkness that lives inside of them is going to come up to be seen, and they have to say yes to it. And when they do, getting to like hold the space for them and witness their change and their transformation and their true essence emerge. Like, that is what I came here for. I know it. No matter how much I've done, how tired I am, like if I show up for that, I feel like I am on top of the world, living my best life, just to like be a part of experiences like that.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
What has been your biggest challenge and what did you learn from it?
Like I've mentioned, there are so many challenges that come with a business and a family and holding all the things. And what I'm learning is grace. I'm learning grace for myself, patience for myself. I'm learning how much I can hold. I'm learning how much I actually am capable of. I'm learning how to manage stress. I'm gaining more tools. I'm learning how to do things I never thought I could do, never thought I was gonna do. Challenges are constant. When you own more than one business and you also have a family, it's like there's a lot of people that you are managing, holding space for, loving, supporting, caring about. And so I know one of the challenges has also been finding the balance between family, home, and self. I've really been working hard to create more balance in that area. At first, it was for all the years. You know, I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, so my energy and focus was family. Then I decided to go into business and create Lavande, and then Elixir came later. And so then my focus went hardcore into creating the businesses. I stepped a little bit away from the family, and so my family started struggling a little bit. And so then I was like, okay, now I need to go back and help my family and lift my family back up. So then I went and put my energy there, and then my business started struggling. And so I was like, okay. So then I was like, how am I gonna get both of them okay? So now I'm like, okay, I figured out those two. Now how do I get myself into the equation and make the space for me too? You know, so that's where I'm at right now, is like, okay, I learned the balance between those. I'm adding myself into the equation. And now this year, that's my focus, is like, okay, balancing all three, because I wasn't putting myself into the equation at first. It's like, okay, giving to them, giving to this. And yes, I do self-care and I take time for myself and I meditate and things like that, but truly like resting and having like days where I am dedicated and devoted to just me is something that I'm really calling in. I'm really finding the balance for. So I think that's been one of the more challenging pieces of all of the challenges. Like I said, there are daily challenges in owning businesses, but it's kind of fun to be met with them. And I now have this perspective of, okay, you think I'm ready for this. And so I almost like get excited and kind of welcome it, because what I've seen over and over and over again is like, when I first started, every challenge was a fear. Like when I had to speak and I would turn it down and I'd be like, I can't, I'm not ready. And then I started saying yes. And I started watching the changes that happened inside of me and how rewarding it was to get to the other side of that fear, to get to the other side of that challenge. And I'm intuitive, so I can feel sometimes when they're coming. And now I'll like feel it. And before I would be terrified and I would be like trying to course correct, like stop this challenge. Now I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to call them in, universe, you know, like as I need to. Yes, I will. I'm not trying to be like, oh, they're so great. I'm so grateful for them. Bring more. But yes, honestly, I feel ready for the challenges that are being presented to me. And I'm like, oh, this is my next step of growth. And so it's become fun to see what's next.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I'm like, okay, I actually need a break. Can I have some ease and grace for like, give me 2 months of ease and grace before you bring the next one. Because, you know, like I said, it's a temple and it really pushes us here. Yeah. And so it's like been a lot of growth for me because I had so much that I needed to grow inside of myself to hold this space, to be the leader in this business, and to create the container of what we are here. It's fun and it's exciting, and yeah, it's hard sometimes, but I'm embracing it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap this up?
I think mostly my gratitude for you and for what you're creating for yourself and calling me in to share my message and just having the curiosity and the desire to get to know me on a deeper level and to help me with my mission and share my message. So I am truly honored to be sitting here with you today and to get to share in this beautiful way our stories together. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's reciprocated.